Step 1, wake up early, gon' rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, fuck everybody, just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gon' rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
I wake up every minute with a fever dreams. I push my mind to a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Till until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it. destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick, and good morning to everyone. I had a crazy sleep last night. My body was achy. Ooh, I'm achy. Like everything's starting to hurt. My goodness, is this a sign that I'm getting old? Maybe. I mean, my body's very sensitive to pressure, sensitive to storms, rain, all that good stuff. And man, I had so much pain in my right knee, my foot, my back, my neck. I was like, every part that I injured was hurting. And I was like, what in the hell is going on, man? This is not right. So let me jump on here and do an early morning show and get to it. Hey, Chloe, 7, good morning. Hope you guys are having a beautiful day. It looks beautiful outside, but it's a telltale sign. Tomorrow, we're supposed to get like really cold weather over here. For the morning, we're supposed to wake up to like 30 degrees. That's right, 30. And they already put out frost and freeze warnings. It's an early start. I mean, if it would have been a little bit timing, if this would have been December, January, the nor'easter that's coming up the East Coast would have dumped at least a foot to maybe 2 feet of snow on top of us here in Connecticut. But I'm happy that it's not coming as snow. It's only coming here as rain. And let's get an update on that weather. Let's go ahead and set it up here. And let's watch.
Is going to start to finally feel like fall because of that front that's going to be sagging southward over the next few days, right? The arrival of fall.
I stayed up.
But that powerful nor'easter that we're waiting on is expected to impact millions of folks
along
the
the Charlie
seaboard.
Kirk. It's still more news on that shit.
Up to southern New England, looking at the
That
potential
JFK
of
2.0.
heavy rain, very gusty winds, and along the coast, it's all about that coastal flooding.
We want to bring in Brian Tang, Associate Professor of Atmospheric and Environmental Sciences at the University of Albany, I believe. Brian, good morning to you. We're trying to hone in on those specifics of this nor'easter, but it has yet.
I'm not far from Albany.
But I am wondering, as someone who studies nor'easters,
I'm not far from
what
Albany,
specifics are you
New York.
looking at this morning? We understand things will change.
Yeah, I'm looking in terms of that
I'd say, what, an hour?
concern about coastal flooding. The storm is mainly going to sit there for a few days and meander around, so there's going to be a long duration of onshore winds. And that push of water is going to cause storm surge over multiple high tide cycles.
This is a 2-hour drive.
The high pressure system to the north of the system is quite strong.
2-hour drive.
Even though the storm itself isn't super strong, that squeeze play between the high pressure to the north and the low pressure to the south is going to cause some pretty strong gale force winds over to the mid-Atlantic coastal region.
Yeah, RB and Froni in Isla Palms, you're going to get a nice little gradient set up there. She mentioned some of the gusty winds. But as we look across the eastern seaboard, impacts will range, right? Especially once we see where exactly this nor'easter, this low, wants to track. Are there any particularly vulnerable areas for you specifically that you're watching right now?
The most vulnerable areas probably where the wind is directly onshore. So perhaps north of Cape Hatteras, where the winds would probably be, pretty much right at a right angle to the shore, where the onshore push of water will be the greatest, is my greatest concern. Particularly if the storm sets up, installs over just east of North
All those
Carolina.
houses are going to come
And
down
that
eventually.
long duration fetch of wind is particularly persistent along that stretch of coastline. That's definitely my greatest concern right now.
And Brian, when we talk about
Nice
it, and we mention this
background
word
graphics.
nor'easter, I think it's
57.
important to drive home the fact that it's
Thanks
nothing
to you.
more,
You helped me out
nothing
big
more
time.
than an area of low pressure. We see these lows that traverse the country all the time, but there are these unique atmospheric setups that make nor'easters prolonged, memorable, and in ways blockbuster when it gets cold enough and we can have some big snows. I guess there has been, in one of the conversations we've been talking about here this morning, how stubborn will that high be? Is it concerning to you that the wind and this nor'easter could be prolonged and maybe linger into next week, or is it too early to have that conversation?
Yeah, right now the models are indicating, the computer models are indicating that the storm will persist and meander around for till Tuesday. So we're talking about maybe a few days of persistent rain and
I get a lot of wind up here in the Northeast.
And the duration of storms can cause impacts to be worse.
Sunday into Monday.
If you're, the beach is being
7, you're going to get a lot of wind and rain.
Gale force winds for 3 days versus, a few hours that can cause a lot more erosion. If you're talking about storm surge over multiple high tide cycles, that can push water inland and flood low-lying areas. So the duration is definitely a concern here.
And it's just really interesting, too, that we have this area of low pressure that'll likely be able to scoop up some of the moisture from what is now a Tropical Storm Jerry. Just an interesting dynamic at play for this particular forecast, aiding in some of the heavy rain that we could see along the East Coast.
Yeah, it's this time of year where we're still in the middle of hurricane season. October is very busy, typically the second busiest month of hurricane season. But at the same time, the high latitudes are beginning to cool down. The days are getting shorter. So our normal storm systems that we get during the wintertime are starting to pick up and get more active. So sometimes a well-timed hurricane or even just a stream of tropical moisture, an atmospheric river, can entangle into one of these storm systems and can kind of generate hybrid storms that can have properties of both nor'easters and hurricanes. Hurricane Sandy being kind of the poster child for one of these storms. But this storm is not going to be Sandy. I want to reiterate that.
Yeah, but there certainly could be some subtropical characteristics that we see play out, and perhaps a name from the National Hurricane Center that's assigned to this low. Not getting ahead of ourselves, but hey, had this been winter, we were saying this could have been some big snow for the Northeast.
We're lucky.
Also getting ahead of myself. We appreciate you chiming in on this conversation. I think the forecast is going to be an interesting one to watch as we head into Monday. Brian Tang, Associate Professor at the University of Albany. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's keep it moving because we still got more to watch.
A beautiful stretch of sand and sea, but the North Carolina Outer Banks are disappearing, one wave at a time. Powerful erosion is eating away at the coastline, and for some homeowners, it's already too late.
So I think the first thing would be to have a declared state of emergency for this portion of North Carolina. That would release some more federal funding. That would release, frankly, a little bit more empathy from people. I think that think of this as just an individual home problem. This is not just one or two homes. This is the bulwark. This is the first line of defense for the rest of North Carolina.
Gotta heat up my coffee.
Homes once steps away from the beach, now teetering on the edge. Skeletons of what was once crashing into the Atlantic.
That's great.
Oh, worried about the wind and the surf, particularly the surf. With what's going on here, the beach can't take it. These houses can't take it. It hurts economically.
Why would you build these houses on Don't say the B word and don't say the M word.
It's got to be just a brutal scene
W
for
word.
you.
Well, that's my house there.
That is your house.
Yeah, that's my house.
What's going to happen?
We are shoring up the foundation today. We're going to sink some pilings in there and sister them in. And then we just bought a lot yesterday, about a quarter mile back here. We're going to move it.
You're retreating,
as soon as we can.
essentially, right?
Unfortunately, we've been here since 81.
That's
The
wild.
National Park Service has had to close beaches and clear debris as fallen homes spread household materials into the surf. Wood, insulation, even
Nails.
septic systems, creating
Ew.
an environmental hazard for wildlife, swimmers, and residents.
But if they can't be moved, ultimately they need to be torn down. I think the long-term environmental, generational effects that this is going to have on our society, our community, with all these contaminants and the toxins falling into the water, and potentially, causing long-term effects on everybody, children in the future.
Listen,
I just think
Japan
it
has
needs to be
this
taken into
issue
consideration,
with
and all
tsunamis.
these homes
A
torn
lot of
down.
their houses went in water, and cars
Rising
and
sea
everything.
levels
So
and stronger storms,
we still
fueled
eat
by
their
a
shrimp,
changing
we still eat
environment,
their
are
fish.
intensifying the erosion. And with limited options for beach nourishment or relocation, many of these communities are running out of land.
I don't
and
feel bad
time.
for them because they
These
chose
homes
to live
all had
there.
grass
They
around them.
spent their
There was
money to live
200 yards of beach at one point in front of these. So you may ask, well, why do people have homes here? Well, it wasn't like this. We didn't have the erosion, the sea level rise, and the onward push from these storms.
This is a daily drip of resistance, and
Yeah.
it's ongoing.
Yeah, it's crazy, Sullivan. That Charlie
Every day
Kirk,
people come out and look
like
to
I
see,
said, the day that
is my house still here?
that
Is
happened,
that house still here? It's a vigil.
all I heard
and
was I
it's
was
gonna
set
keep
up
continuing
and
until,
Assad. I don't know
things are addressed or the
Assad.
properties
I gotta
are
look
not.
into that, but I heard Assad. It was a setup. Like I was set up. Very strong. It was coming to me, and I wouldn't trust a lot of people at Turning
In
Point
Buxton,
because
North Carolina,
I
on
think
the
they're the
Outer
ones that
Banks,
set him up.
Robert Ray, Fox Weather.
But you know, that is what it is. But I have a feeling my psychic abilities. Um, Charlie was set up, and Turning Point. They're very iffy to me. Very iffy, especially his wife. She's a little iffy to me too, and I don't know. For someone that's your husband and you care so much and all that, you show very little emotion. And the little emotion that you did show, it didn't seem genuine. So I don't know. Something just when something doesn't smell right, you know what it is. It's shit. And Charlie definitely was set up. Definitely was set up. Don't trust anybody. That's what Charlie would said. Don't trust anyone. But I gotta do a psychic show about Charlie Kirk and do the pendulum and get some answers. I mean, if Candace could jump into that rabbit hole, bitch, I could jump into that rabbit hole too, and I could get deeper than Candace. Candace just got the hookups. I don't need the hookups. I just use the energy and use the spirits to guide me. And then the spirits will tell me what's up. I am going to do a show like that, and it's going to be about Charlie Kirk. And we're going to tap into his energy and his spirit, and we're going to try to get some answers here. And I'm going to use my pendulum to get answers. I just need to make a purchase. I actually got to put in an order. Let me see. Might have to do it today. I got a couple of things. I'm still working on my list of the shopping for Chloe's list. And then I got to work on my Amazon list. It's like I'm waiting for Chloe to add more things to her site for some reason. I don't know why. But I do have I need to order me it's a an adapter. Not really an adapter. It's like kind of like a rig that I could attach to my table, and I could put my phone on it, and that way I could have the phone facing down, and then I could do my work, and you guys could watch at the same time here, and also on the camera that's facing here. So that's something I'm working on. I'm gonna start rolling up my medicine. So if you hear a little banging and so forth, that's because I'm getting ready to roll. But I gotta get that. It's a mount, it's a mount that I gotta get for my phone, a good one. I can't just get any like cheapo, because I need something that is durable and it's gonna last, and it's able to hold my phone without collapsing or falling while I'm doing my thing. And a good size, that comes over here and hovers about here and facing downward, so that way I could show what I'm working with here. And it would be great to do that even for readings, for tarot card readings, so people can see the cards, so I don't have to like zoom it in all the time. I could just look, there's your cards. Take a screenshot. This medicine smells so good. What she said? Oh. Wow, that's what Candace said she heard in her dreams. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But I know Charlie was set up, because the very day I could replay that, and it's like I kept repeating, he's dead, I'm dead, he's dead, like I'm dead, and like super loud and so much energy, because I felt it in my muscles, like I felt it, like his death, I felt it within me, and I felt like dying. It was just this weird sensation. I've never felt that before, ever in my life. The way I felt when Charlie had passed away, and I just felt this weirdness inside, and this warmth, like really warm, really, especially on the left side here. Like I got really hot inside, and I was so angry for no reason. I was just super angry. I know it wasn't me, because I wasn't angry. And you know, guys, how I'm sensitive to the dead. And I can summons anyone, pretty much. It's just I use their energy and they give me answers, I wish I had someone really good with concentration, because I would have done a Ouija board session just to figure out what is going on, and use the good side. Which isn't really a good side. It's whatever side comes through and whatever answers we could get. But for that, I needed like a second person and someone that is very trustworthy. And, with those Ouija sessions, it's good to have 3 people, at least minimum 3 people. Just because to document which letters are being spelled out, and, for more evidence, but more for documenting. Good to have like 2 players on the planchette and 1 person as like takes down the information. But I know Charlie was set up. Man, 7, if he was here, I would have we could have had a Ouija board session. I haven't had one of those in a while, a long time. It's just, can't do it with just anybody. At least for me, I cannot do the Ouija board with just anybody. It has to be with people that I truly, deeply trust. and then to document it and put it online. Okay, here we go. Got my medicine nice and rolled. But Candace, you know, she needs to be careful too, because this is what I say, Seven, if you're still here. This all had to do with, I don't know if it's safe to say it here on YouTube. Fuck it. I don't care. They're going to end up taking it down anyways. I think Israel is really behind it. And I think Assad, like some upper, like, it has to do with money. And it always had to, like, they always wanted to push the money onto Charlie and to have him change the narrative. He refused, and that was his death sentence. And he was taken out by a team. It wasn't just one person, as they want you to believe. The same thing with Butler, Pennsylvania. They want you to believe that it was just this one person, and then like that whole case of Butler is still, we don't know shit about that case. We don't know why he was at the FBI bureau. We don't understand why he did what he did, how he got the weapons, how, like, all the stuff that he had. We don't know, because they won't tell us. There is a sneaky team here that are eliminating people one by one, and Candace, she needs to watch her back. She can't just be la 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 la. No, because you're gonna get shot, bitch. So take your la 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 back into the house, stay your ass there, and keep producing your shows from your home. Everything you need, get it delivered, and process all your stuff properly outside of your home, because people are devious and can't put certain things in your delivery that can go boom. Yeah. Weird times we're living in. All right, let's see what else we got here in the news. I got my medicine rolled up. Yay! It's a wake and bake. Wake and bake. Smells super good. Okay, let's see here. Let me set this up. Okay, what's this? Okay. All right, let's watch this together.
You probably don't think twice about it, but some San Diego businesses say the paper used for receipts is costing them big. Coffee shops, grocery stores, and other retailers are being asked to pay thousands to settle allegations their receipts have a harmful chemical. Team 10 investigative reporter Austin Grabish shows why some businesses say the legal demands feel more like a shakedown than a safety concern.
It's more and more difficult to do business in California because it's always something.
These little rolls of paper are turning into a big headache for Adam Zach.
Could be devastating. It really would almost make you think, like, do I want to be doing business here?
Do we need the receipt? The owner of Jensen's in Point Loma never imagined being threatened with a lawsuit over receipt paper. But that's exactly what happened in May when he got this letter. The Prop 65 violation notice is an intent to sue and claims his grocery store receipts have a toxic chemical known as BPS.
BPS is almost like an invisible ink. It's the chemical that makes words appear on thermal receipt paper. The problem, it can rub off on your hands, and California has linked it to cancer and reproductive issues.
The boxes say BPS, BPA free, and so we feel we're in compliance.
Zach, whose store sells many organic products, says his supplier has assured him that Jensen's paper is BPS free. He's speaking out to warn other business owners.
don't know, we feel strong about taking a stand.
Team 10 found since January, the internal law firm has sent more than 600 Prop 65 notices. Felipe's Pizza, Swami's, and Better Buzz have all been served. So too have bigger chains like Ralph's and In-N-Out.
A lot of companies were caught off guard by this.
Attorney Mike Gleason defends businesses accused of violating Prop 65. The state law requires stores to warn consumers before they could be exposed to over 900 toxic chemicals. The list includes everything from ingredients in common household products to some food and dyes. Businesses that violate the law face up to $2,500 a day in fines. And get this, California allows private parties to enforce Prop 65 through civil lawsuits.
Who are these private enforcers?
They can be an individual, they can be a nonprofit, it really can be anybody looking to enforce Proposition 65.
If you were to take a case to trial and try to fight it, and you're a small business owner, and you're like, I want to fight this out of principle, how much could that cost you?
It could cost $200,000 to $300,000 depending on the fight.
This small business owner got hit with a Prop 65 notice earlier this year.
I honestly thought it was like a scam, because we were getting like so many phony letters in the mail.
But the letter was real, leaving the entrepreneur who asked us to conceal their identity stunned.
Why are you scared of your identity being known?
I'm really scared of my identity being known because I feel that this attorney will come after me even harder.
Like Jensen's, the business owner's supplier confirmed their paper doesn't have BPS. But the law firm, which sent the intent to sue on behalf of environmental health advocates, claimed their testing showed otherwise.
Facing the threat of a lawsuit, what could that do to your bottom line?
It could totally wipe us out. I mean, the attorney did let us know that we could settle outside of court for no less than $20,000.
I wanted to learn more about environmental health advocates, but I couldn't find a website for the corporation. So I turned to the state and pulled business licensing records. Those revealed the CEO of EHA is La Jolla attorney Alan Cate.
Plaintiff went to the defendant's restaurant and tried to eat a meal there. Plaintiff encountered access barriers.
This is video Team 10 took of Cate in 2017 when he was representing Dwight Banks, who alleged a restaurant failed to have accessible seating. A judge threw that case out, ruling there was no violation of ADA law, while noting Banks wasn't honest about the enormous number of lawsuits he had filed. And while there's no website, Environmental Health Advocates does have an address registered with the state. It's in this office building on Broadway and happens to be the same address as the internal law firm. I went inside to try to get answers. Shortly after leaving, I got an email from attorney Noam Glick. He's the lawyer who's been signing those letters. Glick tells Team 10 for years, restaurants and retailers have been exposing their customers to BPS. He says after it became an enforceable chemical last December, environmental health advocates sent receipts out for testing. Quote, to comply with the law, retailers should be testing their own receipts to confirm they are indeed BPS-free. Whether retailers or suppliers are pointing fingers at each other is between them. Through EHA's efforts, the issue will be resolved, and receipt paper will no longer pose a threat to reproductive health. Team 10 has learned some businesses are resolving the allegations by settling. State records show women's clothing store Princess Polly agreed to pay $18,000 to environmental health advocates for attorney fees and costs. The store also agreed to pay another $2,000 in state civil penalties. Of that fine, $500 will go directly to environmental health advocates.
Gleason says there are steps businesses can take to protect themselves, including putting up clear Prop 65 warnings.
Probably the safest way is to be right at the point of where the cash register might be.
As for Cate, he didn't return my request for comment, but Glick says EHA's focus is on public health. The small business owner disagrees. Did the law firm ever give you an opportunity to correct the problem? Back at Jensen's, Zach plans to fight.
We're not in the wrong, and we don't want to settle.
Taking a stand when others are settling. Austin Grabish, Team 10.
Austin is a government watchdog. He also covers the California Medical Board, military investigations, and the border. Send him your stories by scanning the QR code on your screen or emailing him at austin.grabish@10news.com.
All right, let's keep it moving. Well, before we keep it moving, let me come back to the story with the receipts. Because usually when the people, like with certain places, they're like, "Oh, would you like a receipt?" I go, "No, I get it in my statement. I don't need a receipt if I get it in my statement." Like, receipts are good if you're gonna get like a gift for someone, and if they don't like it, they can return it. Then yeah, you can give them the receipt and so forth. But those papers, yeah, they can cause cancer, and there's people. I'm not worried so much about the customers. It's the employees at the register, the cashiers, who are touching that receipt all day when they're grabbing it from the machine and they're constantly touching it. Yeah, that could be a problem. I can see that. But to take advantage and try to get these companies to submit and then pin them with these lawsuits, I think that's not a good thing. But because what are you gonna do? Sue every company? Like, because of the receipts? Well, then how about having the proper paper for receipts? How about not giving any receipts and just having all your receipts be emailed or text to you? Because we're already we're in 2025, right? So, like, even my bank, it asks me if I want a receipt or if I want my receipt emailed to me. I always put it emailed to me because that way it's always documented and I'm gonna have it in my email. I don't need a paper, So pretty soon they'll do away with the receipts and everything will be text or emailed to you, your receipt. Just crazy times we're living in. Very, very crazy times. All right, let's keep it moving.
Tonight, the man accused of a brutal and deadly attack inside of a subway station in Brooklyn waiting to face a judge. 25-year-old David Mazarigos is facing murder charges. Eyewitness News reporter Safan Kim with details on why the suspect says he did it.
This is the man cops say beat a man to death at the J Street Metro Tech subway station in downtown Brooklyn. 25-year-old David Mazariegos allegedly admitting to investigators he punched and kicked the victim in his head 15 times while he was lying on the ground because he didn't like the way the victim looked at him. The two crossed paths at this emergency exit gate around 3 p.m. yesterday. Mazariegos was trying to get in. He and his victim, 64-year-old Nicola Tanzi, exchanged words. Investigators say Mazariegos then sucker punched the victim before stomping on him, fracturing his skull. The entire assault captured by MTA security cameras.
Oh my
The
God.
victims say he worked near the subway stop.
He says good morning. He was a really nice guy. He was a security guard. He worked in the area. I seen him a lot of times walking around.
He was working every single morning right here. The people know right here, my friends know him. It's terrible.
Police spotted the suspect in Times Square last night with this sword, a 20-inch long blade, resting on his lap. He
What
also
the
had
hell?
4 of the victim's credit cards on him. One he had just used to make a purchase at a nearby Target last night.
Wow, he used the victim's credit card. The dead victim.
He's been arrested 17 times before, including for an assault earlier this year at the 84th Police Precinct. Sefan Kim, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
So you're telling me that he's going to be out by the end of the week? Because New York is very soft on crime. And the guy had 17 prior charges. Yeah, 17 priors, right? And he killed this guy in the subway. I think it was a 67-year-old. So that's still considered probably senior. Like an early young senior. But senior is pretty much like, what, 65 and up? curb stomped his ass, broke his skull, probably bled out in his brain and killed him. Robbed him because he went through his pockets and took his wallet and had 4 credit cards of the deceased on him. And then he had the nerve to go last night to Target to make a purchase with that credit card. With one of those 4 credit cards. I don't know. I just shake my head, you know? Here's another crazy story. Oh, Lord. It's like, what the fuck is going on in the world, man? I wake up and everything just goes crazy. Like, what is happening here, man? I'm giving up on society. I'm letting that fucking asteroid come straight to Earth and blow this shit up. Blow it up. We don't deserve to be here. We don't even know how to behave. We don't even know how to treat one another with love and respect. We don't know how to do that. And this is what happens. Craziness happens. All right, let's check out this next story here.
We have a horrific and graphic report to share with you. Over 30 Christians have been beheaded by the Islamic State Mozambique province, also known as ISMP. CBN's Billy Hollowell joins me now. Billy, how are you processing this?
It is hard to process the fact that you, in 2025, have people around the world who are terrorists who are beheading Christians. It is the most horrific thing imaginable. And we've seen this again and again and again. And I think for me, the thing I'm processing is this reality that in America, we live with such freedom, right? We have our debates, we have our issues over the First Amendment, we have our fights, we have our political infighting and our battles. But the freedom that we live with, I think, isolates us from the reality and the understanding that most people around the world are living in utter horror. And most people around the world, most Christians, are living in places where persecution is so dire that you can get beheaded simply for loving Jesus. And so that is convicting to me. It always sort of brings me back to, do I understand the freedom that I have? Do I understand the ability to worship that I have? Do I appreciate that? And then the second conviction is, am I praying enough for these people? The fact that you have 30 people beheaded, it is so satanic and ungodly and evil. And yet, am I praying enough for those in duress around the world?
Well, ISMP proudly released photos of their demonic savagery, and the incredible organization Memory captured some of those photos. I don't know if we can show them. I'll have to talk to one of our editors, and if we can, we'll put them on the screen. If not, just know that it's barbaric. But what's really disturbing is that these people are proud of it. You know, Billy, what's really struck me is, can you imagine? I mean, can you imagine if the headline wrote, "The IDF beheads 30 Palestinians"? We would be talking about the biggest news story
ever.
I mean, since 9/11, I can't even imagine. And yet, if you Google search Mozambique, there's I think Christianity Today and maybe another Christian organization. Nothing from CNN, nothing from any main. I'm not just talking about CNN. I'm talking about, when I say CNN, I mean like the general New York Times, Washington Post, Fox News. I mean, anybody. I have not seen anybody pick this up. And this isn't uncommon. You know, we did a story earlier this year about how 70 Christians were beheaded in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Obviously, there's a genocide happening against Christians in Nigeria. There's just this awful, atrocious stuff. But nothing's happening on American college campuses. Where are the flotillas? Where is anything? Where is even a poster? Where is a social media post about the extermination? And it's not just like there's bombs happening. Like, for example, there's bombs in Ukraine. There's bombs in other conflict zones. These aren't bombs. These are people like in Nigeria, like in the DRC, like now in Mozambique, that are being beheaded with knives and cut to pieces with machetes, and the world does not care. No Jews, no news. And I'm frustrated for the people in Africa and other places like this, the Christians, our fellow believers, because I just don't see what would, unless the IDF was somehow implicated in some of these killings, that the world's going to care. And I know that's being cynical, but this is just another story that no one on the campus of Columbia or UCLA or University of Michigan is even going to know about, let alone care about. But that's different for us. I know you, the CBN viewer, Billy and I, we care. And we're going to bring light to the story, and we're going to pray for the name of Yeshua, for the Holy Spirit to flood places like Mozambique and Nigeria, Plateau State, and the DRC. There's just so much darkness, Father. I'm sorry to pray, but I can't help it. Lord God, we pray for the name of Yeshua to comfort our fellow believers in Nigeria and in Mozambique and DR, all over Africa. Father, we pray for your will to be done in that continent, Lord. In the name of Jesus, amen. But Billy, I will give you the last word because I'm just frustrated for our brothers and sisters.
I mean, we know that Christian persecution is the worst form of persecution. It is intensifying around the world. We know how bad this is, and yet nobody talks about a lot of it. And to your point, I think the other piece of this, looking at the material, meaning what's in front of us, we know these killings are happening. They're horrific. The media doesn't always cover them.
No, they
we have
won't
to look
mention this.
deeper at this too. We have to understand this is a spiritual battle. Why is it that Christians in every country, it feels, are under duress in some way? Well, the Bible talks about this. It talks about what will happen at the end of days. It also talks about persecution in general as Christians. Let's talk about China, North Korea, all of these places where it is truly hell on earth to be a Christian. And obviously Nigeria that you mentioned, we have to understand the spiritual battle that is going on. Christianity is true. The Bible is real. So the enemy's goal is to kill it, to snuff it out, to try to do that. Now, he will not be successful with that. And it will never happen that way. We know how the story ends. Jesus wins. But in the midst of that, this persecution, these deaths, they are going to happen, and we need to be praying for those people and also praying against those principalities, those spirits. What we see in Ephesians 6, it is described, this persecution is the result of that, and we need to understand that we need to be out there supporting, praying, and speaking out like we are, and encouraging other media to do the same.
All right. Well, let's keep it moving.
Two Rhode Island men arrested in the fiery chaos of this street takeover in Boston faced a judge today. Prosecutors say both of these young men viciously attacked the Boston police cruiser over the weekend.
And they weren't alone. WBC's Paul Burton joins us now live in Boston tonight. And Paul, it is amazing that none of these officers were seriously hurt.
Yeah, especially as you watch that video, the amount of people that were allegedly involved in that incident today. Two of the defendants faced a judge today. Now, while the prosecution was asking for a much higher bail today, the judge issued out a much lesser one. Two Rhode Island teens fist pump one another during their arraignment after a judge sets a low bail for 18-year-old Julian Bowers and 19-year-old William Cantwell. The two were arrested over the weekend in Boston for allegedly taking part in what police described as a large-scale vehicle takeover involving illegal street racing.
Vehicle takeover is where a large crowd of vehicles and pedestrians block off the roadways in order to prevent the flow of traffic so that they can engage in activities such as burnouts, donuts, and illegal street racing.
Prosecutors say during the chaotic incident, one of their cruisers was set on fire on Mass Ave and Tremont Street on Sunday around 2 a.m.
Those people began throwing fireworks, punching and kicking, hitting the cruiser with poles, as well as throwing cones and numerous other items at the officers' cruisers.
Police say Bowers was allegedly seen throwing objects at the cruiser, and Cantwell was accused of smashing the police cruiser with a pole. Both men faced numerous charges, including assault and battery on a police officer and resisting arrest, as they tried to run on foot but were chased down.
In regard regards to Mr. Cantwell, the Commonwealth is requesting a $20,000 cash bail. In regards to Mr. Bowers, the Commonwealth is requesting a $15,000 cash bail.
But the judge denied the Commonwealth's request and released Cantwell on a $1,000 cash bail and Bowers on a $500 cash bail. Prosecutors say these street takeovers are not unique to Boston, but part of a nationwide trend that are pre-planned and coordinated on social media.
These coordinated efforts are designed to overwhelm law enforcement presence and maximize online exposure, a deliberate disregard for public safety.
Today, Bowers left the courthouse with very little to say.
No, I don't want to say anything, man.
And both men are due back in court on November 5th for a pretrial hearing. They've been ordered to stay out of the city of Boston. Live in Roxbury, I'm Paul Burton, WBZ News.
Wow. Okay. Well, what is this Roxbury shooting? Oh, I would, every time I see the Roxbury, I gotta check in on it. So let's see what's up.
Investigation is underway tonight after a woman was shot on a Roxbury street, and we now know that her wounds are not life-threatening. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Ken McLeod in for Courtney. Witnesses say they heard several gunshots. WBZ's Tammy Mutasa is live for us in Roxbury tonight with the latest. Tammy?
Ken, well, neighbors and witnesses in this community are shaken up that so many gunshots were fired in broad daylight. You can actually see the bullet holes are now taped up in the glass of this window. And the fact that more people were not hurt is miraculous.
All I heard was just a bunch of consecutive shots going off in the background.
In broad daylight, 18 bullet holes piercing a busy restaurant full of people. Outside on Dudley Street, police say a woman was shot and rushed to the hospital. Luckily, she's expected to survive.
Hearing consecutive shots back to back, I was like, A, it kind of messed me up a little bit because I'm like, I kind of don't feel safe anymore. And B, if we stayed on that block any longer, then we probably could have got hit in the crossfire.
When the barrage of bullets started flying, people like Aiden were working. Others were in the barber shop next door and ducked for cover.
I was really scared at that point of time, and I heard a gunshot. I was doing my haircut over here, and I heard the gunshot. I was really scared at that time.
The shaken community condemning the shooting, which went down right as many children had come home from school.
I'm really scared. This is not the first time it is happening. It's been many times it happens, and I'm really scared to live here.
Because of those concerns, Senator Liz Miranda, who lives in the neighborhood, came to the scene saying the violence is unacceptable.
It's about every member in the community saying it's not okay. We're not going to stand for this. This business will repair itself, and hopefully it won't be impacted too much. But there is a family tonight that there's going to be a young woman that may or may not be home for dinner.
She and others are calling for everyone to step up and help police find whoever is responsible for putting so many people in danger.
Just want to send a message to everyone. This is unacceptable. Whoever did this, you should be caught, and the full extent of the law should be put against you.
Again, police say no one has been arrested. If you know any information, please call Boston Police. Reporting live in Roxbury, Tammy Mutasa, WBZ News.
Tammy, thanks for...
No, if you know anything, I don't know shit. It's like asking me if I know anything about it. No, I don't be out on the streets like that. I'm a very homebody person. It says you're safer at home. It says it just is. You're safer at home. All right, let's see what else I got here. I hope you guys are having a good morning. It's a not so bad morning over here. It's a little chilly. Tomorrow morning is going to be very chilly. I'll probably come on early tomorrow because it's going to be cold tomorrow. It's going to be cold. It's like, that's it. We're officially in fall. Temperatures are going to be falling over the weekend. Well, actually, tonight. Over the weekend, we got the nor'easter. And we're going to get a lot of rain through up the East Coast. Anywhere between North Carolina, Virginia, all up the coast, all of the coast, Delaware, Maryland, Jersey. Holy shit, Jersey. You guys going to get a lot of wind and rain. And New York City and here up in Connecticut. If it moves up, as they're projecting it to, we're going to get a good amount of rain and very strong winds. And I'm looking forward to it. Why not? I'm already feeling it. My neck hurts so much. My back hurts so much. And my knee was hurting. My ankle was hurting. Like every part where I broke and had repairs is hurting. That sucks. That fucking sucks. This is going to be a weird winter. Very weird. Like the energy now is weird. And I can feel like the energy from the sun. I can feel it, and I can hear the static in my head. And the civil unrest will continue. That's what they want. That's they say fuck it. Let them fuck it up. Like the 1% are not like. They're watching from the sidelines and paying the people to produce this craziness. They're like, the more crazier you get, the more you will get paid. It doesn't matter if you get arrested, we'll bail you out. The train of truth is here. That's fucking crazy. These people should be held accountable, and whatever jail time or send them to the military. I say this and send them to the military. Put them out in the field and see how they survive. Send them over to Africa. Since when we're talking about Africa, send them over to Africa or send them over to Iraq. And then in 10 years, we'll have them brought back and they could share their stories. And then they could see how well and how lucky you are to be living in America compared to all these other countries around the world. It's a wild world. It is so wild. All right, let's check out this news feed here.
The Trump administration working to secure peace in the Middle East and negotiating with some of the region's key players like Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff spotted interacting with Turkey's intel chief as the world of Mideast spy espionage comes to the fore.
Here now is former CIA station chief Dan Hoffman. Dan, good morning to you. Great to see you. There's room for celebration and also deep caution in this moment. How are you processing this news?
It definitely cause for great celebration. Look, I look at this as the first phase of post-war reconstruction, post-war peace in the Gaza Strip and maybe the West Bank as well.
I don't know.
Kudos
How
to
long is
President
this going to
Trump for bringing
stand?
Egypt and Qatar and Turkey together to pressure Israel and Hamas.
This is a forever
to make this
war.
deal. Only in the Middle East could Israel have just tried to strike and kill the lead negotiator for Hamas, Khalil al-Hayya, just recently. And now he's the guy negotiating, albeit indirectly, with Israel. The caution here is that a lot of work remains to be done. Part of the 20-point plan that the Trump administration developed involves disarming Hamas and bringing together Palestinian technocrats, whoever they might be, into the Gaza Strip to oversee the post-war reconstruction there. a lot of money from the Gulf states to fund that reconstruction. And the concern that I would have after a 2-year war, a lot of lingering bad blood between Israelis and Palestinians and mistrust. We're going to have to see a lot of engagement going forward from the United States, from the Trump administration, to make phase 2 happen.
Yeah, let's drill down on the disarmament phase 2, if you will. President Trump saying, quote, once all hostages are returned, Hamas members who commit to peaceful coexistence and to decommission their weapons will be given amnesty. Also adding that members of Hamas who wish to leave Gaza will be provided safe passage to receiving countries. But Dan, what can we do to make sure that members of Hamas don't ultimately rearm, don't ultimately return to the region? Because at the end of the day, we're not dealing with Boy Scouts here. We're dealing with terrorists.
Yeah, I think most of us felt like the timing of Hamas's attack on Israel 2 years ago was designed to ensure that the Abraham Accords would never be extended, that Israel and Saudi Arabia would never establish diplomatic relations. And so the country that most wants to ensure that no such agreement takes place is Iran. And yes, Israel and the United States have decimated Iran's capabilities, but Iran and their proxy terrorists, the Houthis in particular, still have some capability. Iran, I'm sure, will try to do everything they can to support whatever Hamas elements remain at large. And yes, disarming Hamas is going to be incredibly difficult. That's the only leverage they have. They don't want to give up political power, and they don't want to give up their arms. So there will have to be some boots on the ground, forcibly, I think, to make that happen.
Yeah. You know, Dan, you come from the intel world, and over the past 2 years, there have been some really incredible intel moments for Israel. One of them is the pager attack on Hezbollah. The other, I mean, you remember, they killed the political leader of Hamas inside Tehran. So how did those intel successes lead to this moment?
Yeah, I think Israel has arguably never been stronger, at least in recent memory, against its enemies throughout the Middle East, Iran and their proxy terrorists, Hezbollah and Hamas. Israel has taken the fight to them, and that really opened the door for potential reconciliation, a potential deal with in Gaza and then writ large in the Middle East. Intelligence plays a critical role in the Middle East. It also plays a critical role in these negotiations. The key leadership from Turkey, Qatar, particularly Turkey and Egypt, however, it's the intelligence services that work those negotiations, whereas in the United States, we rely on our diplomats. That's not always the case in the Middle East. But Israel's intelligence successes and their military lethality has given them an advantage, obviously, and gives them the potential, at least, with the United States backing, support, and pressure, frankly, from the Trump administration to give us a shot at some peace in the Middle East.
Dan, the remaining members of Hamas, they're giving up their only leverage at this point, giving up the hostages. So why? Why are they doing it? Why now? What is their end game to give up their only piece of leverage remaining?
I think Hamas was pressured to do so. I think Qatar has pressured them to give up their hostages. Remember that Hamas enjoys some sanctuary in Doha, and I think that certainly played a part. I also feel like Hamas's leverage with hostages has probably run out to this point. They're getting a pretty good deal. They're going to get a lot of their own people back in return as an exchange, and we have to be concerned about where they're headed and what role they might play in post-war Gaza Strip. But I think the leverage that Hamas has are their dispersed fighters and the challenge that Israel will have with the international community, particularly the Gulf states, in disarming them and ensuring that they don't play a nefarious role in whatever political process takes place in the future.
You know, Dan, it was 1 month ago today, on September 9th, that Israel launched that airstrike in Qatar and negotiations ground to a halt. And a lot of people said that this was the end of it. But it also put a lot of pressure on both Israel and Hamas to come to a deal. In hindsight, do you think that strike was the catalyst to this moment?
I think there were a lot of elements, but I also kind of feel like it was just the pressure from the Trump administration, this never-ending pressure since the Trump administration took office on Israel, on the Gulf states. With that, you can't have a deal for the first phase without looking out at the horizon for the potential for a second phase where there's finally peace in this region. And I think that's what the Trump administration was able to accomplish. More than anything else, I think that was the critical element here.
Dan, you deal in the world of life and death. That is obviously what we are dealing with here. And in your world, saving lives is much more important than awards. But if phase 1 and phase 2 of this deal come to fruition, how could they not give Donald Trump the Nobel Peace Prize for what he ultimately did, which for eons people have said cannot be done?
Yeah, that's one thing I never had to really think too much about was Nobel Peace Prize when I was at the CIA. But I will tell you that in all the conversations we used to have at CIA, and we used to talk about the wickedly complex threats to our national security, the one that was the tightest wound Gordian knot was the Middle East. We came so close so many times, and there are so many bad actors there who don't want peace to happen. The idea that you could bring the parties together and potentially achieve peace is rather extraordinary. But again, a lot of work remains to be done, and this is going to take likely not weeks or months, but potentially years. And it's going to take a lot of work from the Trump administration to make it happen, but we're on the right path.
Does this open the door to normalization of relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia?
I think it has to. I think you have to see the potential down the road at a strategic level for this tactical success to happen in Gaza Strip. Israel needs to see these benefits, and Saudi Arabia as well. Bringing them together and the potential for diplomatic relations absolutely is necessary to ensure the best chance of success dealing with post-war Gaza Strip.
Former CIA Station Chief Dan Hoffman, we thank you so much for joining us. We could be in for an incredible homecoming.
Thank you. Have a good morning.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And clip.
Keep it moving.
Investigators say 1 woman and 3 men are dead, including the shooter, after a killing spree on the southwest side of town. Sugar Land police say it started with a road rage shooting there, where the shooter killed a woman near Derry, Ashford, and Highway 90.
Oh my God.
Houston police then responded to another scene a couple of miles northeast on U.S. Highway 90, where 2 men were shot at auto body shops. That is where we find KPRC2 News reporter Corley Peel, who has new details about the victims. Corley.
Keith, we've learned from Sugar Land police that the road rage incident was not random, and the shooter was in a relationship with that woman he is accused of killing. Now, out here in Houston, there is no longer a crime scene where those 2 men were shot and killed earlier this afternoon. Investigators tell us that these shootings happen at 2 different auto shops right across the street from each other here. Now, I did have a chance to look at surveillance video. We are not sharing it out of respect for the family, but you could see the shooter get out of his car and chase one of the men before deliberately shooting and killing him. Loved ones are left shaken by this tragedy.
Oh my God, there's
Crews
video of
towed
it.
away this white SUV riddled with bullets. Inside, a woman was found dead after Sugar Land police say a man she was in a relationship with shot and killed her around 12:30 p.m.
Upon arrival, officers located a female victim in a vehicle with several gunshot wounds to her body.
2 witnesses helped as officers tried to save her, but she died at the hospital. About an hour later, investigators say that same man opened fire on 2 different men at auto shops in Houston near Fondren and Main Street.
There was a report that a male in a gray Ford Escape, which matched the description of the vehicle in the Sugar Land shooting, had been involved in an altercation with a mechanic there. During that altercation, he shot the mechanic. As he was fleeing, apparently somebody came out of another warehouse here, started filming that suspect leaving. The suspect then fired several shots, killing that witness.
The shooter was later found near Fondren and Creek Bend Drive, dead inside his SUV. Investigators say he had a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Families of the 2 men rushed to the scene, hugging and shedding tears as they hope for more answers. And family members tell me the man that owns this body shop out here was loved by so many people. We're also told that the other man that was killed was an employee at the other auto shop across the street. They were all too devastated to speak tonight, but there are still a lot of questions about how this all unfolded and why. We, of course, are asking those questions, and we will continue to keep you updated. Reporting live, Corley Peel, KPRC 2 News.
That's wild. Just keep it moving. See what else we got here.
First at 4, we're learning more about a scene out of Fall River from Sunday. One of many communities seeing organized meetups wreaking havoc on the streets with people blocking intersections and cars doing donuts.
Yeah, at least 5 people were arrested by Fall River police as the investigation continues. Our Sheena Loshuto is in Fall River tonight with new details from court documents. Sheena?
Well, this is the thing. Police are seeing this in multiple communities all around Massachusetts. Here in Fall River, police say they responded to similar reports in 2 parts of the city. In one case, they say an ambulance couldn't get through the street because crowds were blocking it.
This is the intersection of Central and Duval Streets in Fall River at about 12:30 in the morning Sunday. Viewer video capturing what police say they were getting calls for, cars blocking the road and doing donuts. According to police reports obtained by 12 News, responding officers also saw people setting off fireworks there as groups started to scatter. Police say people were hanging out of their cars, yelling at police, calling them names and slurs. And when more police got there, authorities say people totally just ignored their presence, and some even got in their way. These are the 5 people arrested by Fall River police. They've already faced a judge, and police say there's a warrant out for at least 1 more person. Fall River police say the suspects said they saw the flyer on social media promoting the meetup, also finding out that they all originally met up in Brockton, but police there broke up the gathering, so they decided to head to
have a
Fall
great
River.
day, man.
The same police report also states
Time for
similar
work.
reports were called in earlier in the night in Fall River at the end of Innovation Way. In that case, EMS officials told police they couldn't get through because of the crowd. This is not the only city seeing chaos like this. Boston also saw a so-called street takeover around the same time. In that case, 2 teenagers from Rhode Island were arrested and charged.
Now, police say when they got to that intersection of Duval and Central Streets here in Fall River, they saw about 200 people gathered there. Now, if you're familiar with this city, police also want to emphasize this is really a main pathway to get to the area hospitals here. So that was a big worry for first responders and why police say they're taking this so seriously. Reporting live in Fall River tonight, I'm Sheena Loshuto, 12 News.
That's wild. Let's see what else we have. What's this?
New at 5, another tale of why dog proving that he's man or woman's best friend.
In Okaloosa County, Florida, an elderly woman was taking her evening walk but hadn't come back.
Her husband, concerned, made calls to the sheriff's office, and what happens next is a real tearjerker.
Our Shelby Myers picks up the story from here, and Shelby, a dog saved the day.
Yeah, he did, Cameron and Lenise. The 86-year-old woman was walking her son's dog when she fell and could not get up. The dog stayed by her side until he must have heard a car and ran to that deputy to get help. It's must-see body camera video.
She never takes more than 10 or 15 minutes. It's almost an hour now. It's over an hour now.
You can hear the worry and fear in this elderly man's voice. His 86-year-old wife had taken the dog for a walk in their Destin neighborhood, but hadn't come back. So he called the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office. Deputy Devin Miller responds, asking about the kind of dog she was with, and then took off to search for them. Deputy Miller spots the dog walking toward her patrol vehicle, still on a leash.
Hi! Hey, where's your mama?
Grabbing the leash, the dog leads the deputy right to the woman.
Oh my God.
I got you, ma'am. Reach right to upload her. Oh, hey man, can you tell me what happened? Oh, can you tell me what happened? Are you okay?
Oh my
You
God.
can't see her in this body camera video, but authorities say the elderly woman was lying on the ground after she had fallen.
She's
Oh my
laying
God.
on the sidewalk.
It's
Unconscious,
dark,
but
so she could have
maybe
tripped.
hurt herself.
Okaloosa
She
County
hurt
Sheriff
herself.
Eric Aiden says the deputy did what she could to take care of the woman until EMS arrived.
The dog laid down beside the woman, as you can see in the video, clearly protective of the homeowner. The lady had injured her leg. We got EMS there. They were able to render aid and
hurt her
we were
leg.
able to take the dog, obviously, back to the homeowner.
The four-legged friend had saved the day, protective and intuitive over the woman who turns out wasn't even his owner.
Where were you when
What?
I was in front of that house right there. And then the dog ran up to me. I was right out here.
And the dog brought you.
He wouldn't leave. He kept coming back to me. He ran up to my car and I said, bring me to your mommy, and he ran back here.
He come up to your car.
Good boy.
Oh, sweetheart.
Good boy. Very good boy.
I'm not even his owner. I'm his grandmother.
Oh, you're such a good boy.
Oh, Eeyore, you're a good boy. Grandma loves you.
Good boy, Eeyore.
Oh, that just gets me. How sweet and wonderful of an ending to this story. The woman had
Wow,
some
dogs
minor
are very
injuries
smart.
there, but she's doing okay. Sheriff Eric Aiden says the deputy who responded declined to do any on-camera interviews and wanted this story to be about that dog, Eeyore, there. In the studio tonight, Shelby Myers, Fox 10 News.
Yeah, the real hero is the damn dog. What a talented, beautiful dog to have flagged down a police officer and brought help. Like that's wow, that is amazing. Never underestimate animals. Animals are as special as we are as humans. You know, like my cat is very special. She's very smart. Great personality. Like my cat is a lot smarter than a lot of people that I know and put together too. Okay, let's go ahead and check this story out. See what this is about.
Killed.
You'll hear
We're going to listen now to Mitch McCoy.
Horrible act of violence occur involving a family that had lost a loved one in a recent homicide, and there was a balloon release tonight when shots were fired and multiple people were injured by gunfire. Major box truck will go through a preliminary update on what we know so far. Things are developing here as evidence is being collected, and we are interviewing additional people and witnesses and victims. And of course, there's a fairly large scene here tonight. So Major Box Truck will go through some of those details for you, and then we will, I'll provide additional information after Major Box Truck.
Good evening. So just before 7 p.m. this evening, District 5 received a call for a shooting in the 5900 block of Wells. Upon arrival, they located numerous victims of gunshot wounds. And a short time later, they received information that other victims from gunshot wounds were arriving at Barnes Hospital. So what our preliminary investigation has revealed is that there was a balloon release here this evening for a victim of horrible violence in our community, and sometime during that event, gunshots were occurred, and we have victims. So right now we have one victim who unfortunately was pronounced this evening, and he died this evening. So we have another victim of violence in our community. We have one who is shot and is considered critical unstable, who right now is fighting for his life, and we have 3 others that sustained gunshot wounds that are in stable condition as far as we know. So that's what we have right now. Like I said, this is very preliminary information, but we have confirmed 5 victims, one who unfortunately died this evening, and one who is fighting for his life this evening. So that's what we have, and we do know that it was a balloon release for a victim of violence. However, we're not going to get into what that is right now or who that victim is. This is an ongoing investigation, and some of those things are very sensitive, and we have to work on that. So
Are there suspects you're searching?
Hold on, just one. I just want to get into a few more details.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I did not say that. We do have only one firearm located at the scene this evening. So there is one firearm that was located, and possible suspects, there were numerous people here. So we do know that there are people that know something that happened this evening. We are unclear because there were so many people here who would be suspects, who would be victims, and what we're looking for. So that's a long investigation, okay?
So in addition to what Major Bachstruck has said, we have, again, these are unconfirmed, but we believe that the people involved tonight, whether they're victims or suspects, that's for our detectives to sort out. Ages range, we believe they're all adults. We believe that the ages range between 19 and early 30s. There's still, as you can imagine, a lot of individuals we need to interview to confirm identities. But I can tell you that there were at least one individual was shot in the hand, another two were shot in the leg, and then, of course, the victim who passed away tonight was shot multiple times. And we're not going to release where the other victim was shot that's fighting for his life just yet. But we'll open it up to some questions. But we keep in mind, we're still very early in this.
Did that victim die at the scene?
Yes.
He was transported to the hospital, but yes. So he was declared gone at the hospital. Let's put it that way.
I know it's early, but just any idea what fueled this, what started this?
No, we don't have that right now. So that's still, like we said, many people were here. Not so many people were here when the police arrived. So we have a lot of work to do, a lot of legwork to do.
Damn, St. Louis, you guys are crazy out there.
I don't have that information right now. That's going to be part of the investigation.
Everyone who was shot, were they males, females?
We have all male victims.
And you've been listening to a live news conference with St. Louis police in regards to a shooting on Wells Avenue in North St. Louis. 4 people injured and 1 killed tonight. And one of
Wow, that was last night. Let's see what's going to be going on here in Connecticut. Let's check this out. It's going to get cold tonight.
Let's go and take a drive, shall we? We've got the car up for you. Let's get behind the steering wheel and drive away. Roads are dry. Your visibility is good. Perfect 10 this morning. First Alert Live Radar, the only live radar in Connecticut scanning dry. Now, there is a freeze warning in effect for tonight through tomorrow morning. This is in effect for everybody with the exception of the immediate shoreline. But shoreline, there could be some patchy frost there as well, so everybody pay close attention. These are your overnight lows. Break it up, break it up, break it up. We're talking about lows in the upper 20s and low 30s. A little bit better along the shoreline, 37 in New Haven, 39 in Bridgeport. It is going to be a cold night tonight, and this is going to bring an end to the growing season for many. So we've gone ahead and issued a first alert for this time period. For the first frost, near record cold. We're not expecting record colds. 29 and 33 are the records for Hartford and Bridgeport. We're going for 32 and 39 respectively. And then we turn our attention to Sunday into Monday, a coastal storm with wind and rain. Not going to be a favorable time period around here. Sunday afternoon through Sunday night and through the day on Monday. Here are those records that I was talking about. Again, 29, we're forecasting 32. 33, we're forecasting 39. So very close to those records. Let's turn our attention to Sunday into Monday. Periods of rain, a gusty wind, coastal flooding. What's going to happen is the water's going to get pushed into the Long Island Sound with that northeasterly breeze. And let me tell you, we're going to get some rain and we're going to get some wind gusting to 50 miles an hour on Monday. So it's going to be quite windy around here. In the meantime, enjoy the beautiful sunshine we've got out there for you right now. Again, visibility at a perfect 10. Temperatures are in the upper 30s, low 40s, some upper 40s. Along the shoreline, Meriden, you're at 48, but Bradley, you're at 44. A little chill out there this morning, and it only gets colder. Satellite and radar, cloud-free. Futurecast is basically dry. Not a lot going on Futurecast for the next 3 days as high pressure just moves in. And as it centers itself up over Connecticut tonight, the winds drop. It's going to be a beautiful night, clear skies. However, it is going to be cold. Temperatures in the upper 50s today. Your 7-day forecast includes 3 first alerts.
32
Sunday and Monday
tonight.
are next after tomorrow's.
Oh,
All right, good morning, Scott. Good morning.
That's going to suck tomorrow. It's just gonna suck. All right, let's check this out.
Good morning, everyone. It's time for morning briefings, and I hope you have your favorite cup of coffee.
Yeah, hold on. Let me go heat it
All
up.
over yourself when you hear what I'm about to say. But we're going to drink our coffee from a thermos from Fire Inspector Services. You got that? From New Jersey. Thanks for sending the cup. Good coffee. Now listen, there's things you can't make up. So we arrested Walter Frymere. He's 51. We got a call that he was naked inside of a restroom at a public park. So we asked, is he naked or buck naked? You know, you can be naked and still have your socks on. But if you're buck naked, you're totally naked. Well, anyway, our deputy gets there. The dude's got all of his clothes on. So we're nice. And we send him out of the park and trespass him and tell him we're not going to arrest you, even though people saw you here without any clothes on. We're going to give you a break. So what does he do? He goes across the street and hops up on what? The railroad train track and trespasses again, just as soon as we gave him the break. So the deputy arrests him. We find out he's already got 25 prior arrests and been to state prison 5 times.
Oh my God.
So not only is he trespassed, we've got him in possession of meth.
Oh my
Well,
God.
I've talked about meth doing crazy stuff to you, right? You ain't gonna believe this. So we put everybody through a body scanner to make sure that they're not trying to bring guns and knives and drugs into the jail. Well, you might have thought Walter was bringing drugs into the jail. He brought a thermos into the jail.
What?
That's right. He put it up the exit ramp. You know what I mean?
He put a thermos up his ass?
Thermos. About this size. No, it wasn't this one. We saw that and we said, dude.
Oh my
What are
God.
you doing here? He said, well, I put that inside my body and he didn't swallow it 24 hours earlier. The deputy saved his life. Oh, and that was after Walter threatened to kill the deputy for arresting him. We had to take him to the hospital. They had to find a specialist. It was quite the ordeal, but he's thermaless in the county jail today. I told you weren't going to believe it. Never seen it before. Have another drink of coffee. Have a good day.
That is crazy. He put the thermos up his ass. How the hell they? Oh, I didn't want to know. Keep it moving. That was disturbing. I'm disturbed. Okay, let's just keep it moving. Oh God. Help us.
We have new details on a woman's murder at a Dallas shopping center that escalated from a courteous gesture to a violent confrontation. Good evening, I'm Steve Eager.
I'm Heather Hayes, Fox 4's Alex Boyer, live with the details from arrest records. Alex.
Hey guys, and according to that arrest warrant affidavit, we now know that it was the victim who got mad at the suspect for not saying thank you after she held the door open for the suspect at an area business. Well, that ended up spilling over into another nearby business where the arguing continued, and then once they were outside, that is when that verbal altercation turned deadly.
The shooter was telling them, come outside, like, let's handle it outside, like, you know, let's fight aside. And the mom and the daughter were kind of just like go away.
Located off West Wheatland Road in the southeast Oak Cliff area of Dallas Tuesday afternoon, when she noticed 2 women, one with her 20-year-old daughter, arguing in the parking lot. Moments later, she heard gunshots.
But the mom and daughter tried to get in their car and de-escalate the situation, but the lady wasn't having it. So they ended up starting to fight. And then that's when the lady pulled out her gun and shot her.
Dallas police later identified the suspect as 22-year-old Kiona Hampton. She fled the scene in her car, but was arrested hours later with the help of surveillance video that captured her image, car, and license plate. The witness ran to help and put her training to work, performing CPR.
The daughter was next to the mom the whole time. She, it's hard because, the screaming of a child for her mother is never easy, and it's never going to leave my head.
The victim, identified as Cecilia Simpson, died at the hospital. All of this started on the other end of the shopping center at 5 Below as both the suspect and victim exited the store with something that might seem like a simple gesture of courtesy. According to the arrest warrant affidavit, Simpson got upset at Hampton for not thanking her for holding the door. It spiraled quickly from there. Hampton, who reportedly waived her Miranda rights, confirmed that she engaged in the verbal dispute, entering the PetSmart twice and continuing the argument, throwing a drink bottle at Simpson's car when she was about to leave and engaging in a physical altercation with her, adding that she took out her gun and shot Simpson, stating she was trying to get Simpson away from her. And again, the victim's daughter was a witness to all of it.
I've been trying not to cry, but just being in high school, my mom was such an important person during my lifetime, and she's the reason I became a nurse. My whole family is. Honestly, if I could just hug that daughter, I just feel so bad for her, and I just want her to know that I did everything I could. Those other people did everything they could.
And those other people included 2 other nurses who rotated in CPR. Meanwhile, I can tell you that Hampton remains at the Dallas County Jail and no bond has been set. Back to you.
All right, Alex Boyer, thank you.
Oh, weird. That's a weird story. I'm telling you, the full moon with the sun energy hitting us, and we had the 3-eye atlas passing by Mars. Who knows if it dropped any probes in Mars? This is just weird times we're living in. The energy is super weird. Now, let's continue on with this next story. I guess it's the government shutdown story. So, okay, let's watch.
All right, this morning, an important story here for anyone who has plans to fly in the next few days.
Yeah, you might run into some travel troubles depending on where you're going because of the partial government shutdown. Your reporter Roger Stanton live at Bradley International Airport. Looks like things are running smoothly there, but what do travelers need to know?
Yeah, good morning, ladies. First and foremost, here at Bradley International Airport, we're not seeing major issues, as you mentioned, although I can tell you one delay did just pop up on a flight going to Washington, D.C. this morning, and that is one of the cities that has been having some troubles, some travel troubles because of the government shutdown. But the bottom line is Bradley officials, I should say they have not dealt with many increases in disrupted flights, but experts still recommend that travelers show up early at the airport because right now it's a different story at many other cities around the USA. And stop me if you've heard this one, but the heart of the issue is the government shutdown. CBS News reports an air traffic controller shortage has flared up since the shutdown began, which has led to a bunch of delays and cancellations at a laundry list of airports all over the country, including Newark, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles. Air traffic controllers are essential workers and required to work without pay during a government shutdown, but the Associated Press reports a slight uptick in sick calls over the last few days has snarled the entire system, and right now travelers are bearing the burden. And again, just one flight delayed here at Bradley, but it is to Washington, D.C., which is one of the cities that has been affected by this government shutdown. Hopefully, we don't see the problem get worse, but let's just say it is possible. By the way, one thing you should know, if your flight is ever actually canceled, you can demand a full refund for any reason from your air carrier. You don't have to rebook, so if you'd rather take a train or drive because you don't want to roll the dice, that is an option during these crazy times. Reporting live inside
Who the fuck wants to take a train?
Roger Suzanne in Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, Roger, thank you. Today,
Roger, dude, who the fuck wants to get on a train? I don't. It hurts my fucking neck. My neck is hurting just thinking about it. Good Lord. I pay for a plane ticket to get on a plane, not to pay a plane ticket and then give me another option to travel. It's like, yeah, like how long is this going to go? Is this going to go up to like Thanksgiving? Are the Democrats that bold that they're going to let this continue on through the Thanksgiving holiday? You know how the traffic is going to be on Thanksgiving, and if the shutdown is still happening in Thanksgiving, you know the chaos at the airport that's going to be. A lot of people are not going to be able to get to their families because there's not many people working at the tower. They just don't get paid, and a lot of them are not just going to go to work if they're not going to get paid. I mean, I think this is all ridiculously stupid, and I don't know why air traffic control is connected to this government shutdown. It shouldn't be, but it is, and it's just, is it going to reach to a point where it's going to affect Thanksgiving travel? Is it going to affect the holidays, like Christmas? Holy shit! You imagine if the shutdown continues through Christmas? Man, the Democrats are the real big Scrooges for sure. Oh my goodness, you guys are a bunch of Scrooges, Democratic Party. But let's go ahead and watch this here and see what this is about.
Joining me now is celebrity and royal commentator Kinsey Schofield. Kinsey, Meghan Markle has been criticised for laughing when a model tripped during the Balenciaga fashion parade in Paris this week. Yes, she quickly recovered there. Meghan, that is, not the model. But it's been noted, Kinsey, that Meghan Markle was about the only one who burst out laughing there. Is she a mean girl?
You know what is so frustrating? Buckingham Palace knows the answer to that question. The palace investigated claims that Meghan bullied royal staff during her very brief time as a working royal. Those findings were never released publicly. Officials confirmed the review had been completed, but they kept the details sealed to protect the privacy of those involved. Prince William's been talking a lot lately about how he'll be a different type of monarch. Maybe he will give us the results of the Meghan Markle Mean Girl investigation once he's king.
That it would make fantastic reading. Yes, I'd like to see that. Now, Meghan is also being mocked for apparently holding her jam equipment upside down in a new photographs released alongside a restock of her as ever apricot jam and orange marmalade product range. What sort of jam equipment are we talking about? I didn't realise there was jam equipment.
Okay, so these are tongs that you use when canning so that you can place the jam, the loose fruit spread, the slimy jam, whatever it is she's concocting in the boiler without hurting yourself. And she is holding them at the opposite end of the correct way to do it. It's the perfect metaphor for brand Meghan. Optics matter. And when you're selling a product but look like you don't even know how to use it, it's tough to convince people that you're the expert. It's giving grifter energy, not lifestyle guru.
It is giving grifter energy. It's also giving the energy that her staff hate her because someone should have pointed that out, because I think no one really expects her to be actually making the jam or having any real input into the process. But you would think somebody who does would have said, Meghan, that's upside down. Now, let's talk about George Clooney. He has said that he lives a normal life despite owning a whopping $750 million in property. During the premiere of his latest film, he told the Daily Mail, I have normalcy. You know, I drive my kids to school every morning. You know what? There's a bit of Meghan Markle about George Clooney.
100%. Nothing says normal like $750 million in real estate and the power to nudge a sitting president out of an election. George may drive his kids to school, but the rest of us aren't steering world politics from the carpool lane. He needs to chill out.
Now, Drew Barrymore has come under fire for taking her shoes and socks off on air so that her co-host could perform a smell test on her feet. And I'm going to give a warning before this footage because feet are gross and no one should be able to see this.
You know, Drew does not
Beautiful
have a stinky
feet, yes.
She's like a smell good girl.
They're
really
dirty
Ew.
right now.
But if your feet
Ew.
girl,
Great. Let me double check. Hold on.
Ew.
I mean, it
Ew.
smells like a whole lot of nothing. Yeah, that's what you want.
Ew.
Scent there whatsoever, and believe me, I have other issues.
No, that
Ew.
wasn't as bad as I was expecting. I was expecting some close-ups,
What
but
the
Kinsey, what's
hell?
going on there?
Well, first of all, I would just like to apologize for nasty American celebrities. We've got
Oh
Tracy
my
Ellis
God.
Ross dry brushing on airplanes, Meghan Markle with her germy feet on car seats, and now Drew Barrymore is shoving her feet in people's faces. Rita,
Oh
we used to be
my
a proper
God.
country. What happened?
Yes, something has gone terribly wrong there, Kinsey. Now, talking about terribly wrong, Hilaria Baldwin's Dancing with the Stars journey has come to an end. I've got to say, until a few minutes ago, I wasn't even aware she was competing. How did she react to being eliminated, Kinsey?
Well, you should be bragging because we broke on this show that she was campaigning to be on that show. So the Rita Panahy show knew before anybody else knew that, that's right. That's right. She was fine about being eliminated, but she knows she was just using this as a rebranding tool after Alec accidentally shot a coworker. This was a platform for her to relaunch herself. Her book failed. Her reality show failed. Her Spanish accent failed. My favorite part was her insisting that she got the gig on her own, denying being a Nepo wife, and insisting she got cast on Dancing with the Stars
Nepo
without the
wife.
help of Alec Baldwin. Okay, I'd love to live in that delusional world that you live in.
Well, yeah, because she was a household name without Alec, of course. We completely missed that. Oh, dear me. Bad Bunny, we've talked a bit about him. He's caused more controversy surrounding the NFL's decision to book him for the Super Bowl halftime show next year. Now, he's refused to stand up for God Bless America during a Yankees game. Tell me about this, Kinsey. This isn't going to win him any fans.
Yeah, I mean, there's just video. First of all, when you're Bad Bunny, shouldn't you know better? And there's video of him refusing to stand up as the entire stadium stands up and is proudly singing God Bless America. And, you know, standing up for God Bless America isn't politics, it's gratitude. When you've built a career in America and scored one of the biggest stages in the world, the Super Bowl, maybe just take a moment to stand up and show a little respect. But I think he's angry because people are pushing back about this halftime show.
Oh, people are going to be pushing back a lot more if he uses that honour to push his politics, to play these divisive games. He should just take that honour and try to introduce his music to a whole new audience, because a lot of football fans have no idea who he is. But I've got a feeling that's not what's going to happen. Before you go, Dolly Parton has addressed rumours about her health, telling fans in a video posted to social media that she ain't dead yet.
Everybody thinks that I am sicker than I am. Do I look sick to you?
Dolly
I'm
Parton's
working
good.
hard here. Anyway, I wanted to put everybody's mind at ease. The doctor said,
What, they thought she
"We
was
need to take care
dead?
of this. We need to take
I
care
wasn't
of
thinking that.
Nothing major, but
She's
I did
good.
have to cancel some things so I could be closer to home. But I wanted you to know that I'm not dying."
Kenzie, she's a national treasure.
That's right.
Yeah.
We believe she has kidney stones. So do pray for our girl Dolly. She says
Yeah,
she always
I mean,
welcomes prayer.
because surgery takes that out. My sister had that.
Kinsey Schofield, thank you so much for your time
Not
tonight.
not fun. It's very painful. You know, it just sucks. To be honest with you, kidney stones really suck, and I had them before, and it's the whole process is not even fun. Not even fun, especially when they leave the stent inside of you, and then you have to have that stent for like weeks. They can have it for like up to 2 weeks, and then they have to at the end pull it out. Oh, it's just the worst feeling. Just the worst feeling. But we're about to wrap up the show. We're to the last video we're gonna watch. We're going to keep it under 2 hours because I got a show tonight. And the show is with Tyson DeLacruz. He's going to be on here tonight. So, and that's at 7:30 7:30 p.m., 4:30 Pacific. Getting cold. I can feel the cool breeze coming through. It's gonna be a cold night tonight. It's okay. We have the heaters on, so not a worry. But I can feel it. All right. So without further ado, I'm already yawning because I want to get off of here, relax a little bit. I got the chiropractor today appointment, so that's gonna be interesting, as always is. It's not fun, but we definitely gotta figure shit out with my neck and with my spine, because my spine's acting up. So that sucks. But all right, let's go ahead and get to this last show, and let me set it up here real quick. This is a early morning entry from Tyson. So thank you, Tyson, for the entry. And let's go ahead and set myself up over here, and let's watch Tyson DeLacruz.
So in total, there were 21 children taken into protective custody related to the mother and father.
You heard right, 21 children, all taken into DCFS custody.
America, what I'm about to show you is going to blow your mind. Imagine walking into a house and finding 21 children, all born through surrogate mothers, sitting in rows of desks like they're in some kind of factory school. But that's just the beginning of this absolutely insane story. The couple running this operation wasn't just exploiting surrogate mothers and abusing children. They were also managing a criminal enterprise involving 84 boxes of magic mushrooms, illegal gambling operations, firearms disguised as cell phones, and connections to a foreign national who was already convicted of running 800 fraudulent asylum applications. We're talking about Zhu Zhang and his wife, Sylvia Zhang, from Arcadia, California, who created what can only be described as a baby factory while simultaneously running drugs and gambling operations. This case has everything: human trafficking, child abuse, immigration fraud, drug trafficking, illegal gambling, and firearms violations, all connected to one massive criminal network that's been operating right under our noses.
That's crazy.
Arcadia police continue to investigate a couple that was suspected of running a surrogacy business out of their home. But it's not clear if they had any clients other than themselves. 21 of their children, many they had through surrogates, are now in the custody of LA County Children and Family Services.
What is up, guys? Tyson DeLacruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story was actually sent to me by a subscriber a while back. And now that the case has evolved into something much more sinister, we need to break down what's actually happening here and why it represents everything wrong with our current system. Let's start from the beginning for anyone hearing this scandal for the first time, because the details are absolutely mind-blowing. Zhu Zhang and Sylvia Yang are a couple living in Arcadia, California, who had 21 children, every single one born through surrogate mothers, all living in their home.
All right, now to a bizarre story. In Southern California, a couple there under arrest and charged with child endangerment after police found their home packed with 21 children.
Think about that for a second. 21 kids, all from surrogates under one roof. This wasn't a family. This was an operation. And when Child Protective Services started investigating, they found evidence that will make you mad.
The court documents also show images of teachers and nannies inside the Arcadia home with a group of children in 2 rows of desks. Detectives wrote that this image shows on the left an adult hitting a child in the face, while another child on the right does squats. This one shows another child getting spanked while face down on a desk.
Court documents reveal images showing children sitting in rows of desks like they were in some kind of factory school. But worse than that, detectives found evidence of systematic abuse. Images showing adults abusing a kid while another kid does squats. Pictures of children getting spanked while face down on the desk in what appears to be a controlled institutional environment where children were being physically harmed.
Arcadia police say they took 15
15 kids from this home into protective custody
What?
after a 2-month-old baby came to the hospital with severe head trauma.
In my
Oh my
opinion,
God.
this wasn't a home. This was a child abuse factory disguised as a family residence. Images show teachers and nannies, rows of desks, and a controlled environment that looks more like a detention facility than a family home. But here's where the story gets even more disturbing. While Child Protective Services was investigating the surrogacy nightmare, they discovered that Ju Jung wasn't just running a baby factory. He was also managing a business complex in El Monte where a whole different set of crimes was taking place. The El Monte operation is where this case explodes into something much bigger than just surrogacy abuse. We're talking about a sophisticated criminal enterprise that included illegal gambling, drug trafficking, and firearms violations.
But just a few miles from the home is this El Monte commercial property complex managed by Shen. According to court documents, you're looking at gambling machines and stashes of psilocybin mushrooms found inside that complex.
Police seized 84 boxes of psilocybin mushrooms, cannabis, concealed firearms disguised as cell phones, and illegal gambling machines. This wasn't some small-time operation. This was a sophisticated criminal enterprise operating multiple illegal activities simultaneously.
Gaming machines have also been found during multiple searches of the complex, and in this court document, police say their investigation into Ma and others led them to guns and wads of cash.
The firearms were disguised as cell phones, which tells you everything you need to know about the level of sophistication that we're dealing with. These people weren't amateurs. They were running a professional criminal operation with multiple revenue streams. But wait, folks, it gets worse. Meet Heron Dragon Ma. The man court documents identify as the ringleader of the gambling and narcotics activity. This guy was described as a foreign national, unlawfully present in the United States, and, get this, a convicted felon.
According to the court documents, back in 2014, he went to jail after being convicted for being the mastermind and ringleader of a fraudulent immigration scheme who helped file approximately 800 fraudulent asylum applications on behalf of Chinese nationals.
800. This man was running an immigration fraud factory, and somehow he was still in the country running more criminal operations. Let me repeat that. 800 fraudulent asylum applications. This foreign national was already convicted of massive immigration fraud, and instead of being deported, he was allowed to remain in the United States, where he continued to build criminal enterprises. How is this even possible? The financial scope of this operation is staggering. Police found wads of cash during their investigation, and we're talking about a business complex, multiple properties, the resources to pay for 21 surrogate pregnancies, and enough money to run illegal gambling and drug operations simultaneously.
But Ma and Shen are now being connected to more recent crimes police say unfolded here in El Monte.
Think about the math here. Surrogate pregnancies can cost anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000 each. Multiply that by 21 children, and you're looking at potentially millions of dollars just for surrogacy arrangements. And in the business complex, gambling operations, the drug inventory, we're talking about a multi-million-dollar criminal enterprise.
So it's kind of set up like a hotel, a big lobby, and all the rooms are like suites.
And like around what I can only describe as a hotel desk, and a gentleman sitting behind it like a clerk.
But here's what really gets me fired up about this situation. The city of El Monte is now seeking to declare these properties a public nuisance and is going after Ju Jung Ma and their co-conspirators for tens of thousands of dollars in fines. Tens of thousands of dollars in fines. Are you kidding me? Where's the federal prosecution? Where's ICE?
Right.
Where's the serious criminal charges that match the scope of these crimes? We have a foreign national who was already convicted of immigration fraud involving 800 fake asylum applications, and he's still in the country running drug and gambling operations. How is this possible?
And now back to this new abatement. The city of El Monte is seeking to have that business property be declared a public nuisance. It is also seeking to slap tens of thousands of dollars against Shen, Ma, and all the other defendants named in here.
The fact that Ju Jung and Zhang were arrested and then released while their investigation continues is absolutely unacceptable. These people were running what appears to be a child abuse factory while simultaneously managing drug and gambling operations. They should be in federal custody, not walking free while investigators continue their investigation. This case exposes massive problems in the surrogacy industry that nobody wants to talk talk about. When you can produce 21 children through surrogates and house them in what appears to be an abusive institutional setting, something is fundamentally broken in our regulatory system.
As for the surrogates now finding out the children they carried are in foster care, experts say it's a lot to process.
To find out that the possibility of something different is truly a loss. Like, there's grief because it's a loss of what you thought you were giving. It's a loss of the identity around, carrying someone's child and doing something for them. And the possibility, I can imagine, of the fear of kind of like, is the baby that I brought into this world going to be safe, going to have a nice life?
The surrogacy industry operates with minimal federal oversight, which creates opportunities for exploitation that criminal organizations are clearly taking advantage of. These people were essentially running a baby factory using surrogate mothers to produce children who were then subjected to systematic abuse.
All went well medically, and the baby was born March 13th. But 2 months later, Kayla learned the baby she carried was not with mom and dad.
She is in a foster home. It's kind of worst case scenario, something that is almost unbelievable unless you're living it.
Images from this case show what happens when surrogacy arrangements are used not to help families, but create controlled environments for child exploitation. The children were living in institutional settings with teachers and nannies, following rigid schedules and subjected to physical punishment. This raises serious questions about how many operations like this are currently running. If Ju, Jing, and Zing could operate for years with 21 children in these conditions, how many other criminal organizations are exploiting the surrogacy industry?
Department of Children and Family Services investigated, removing the rest of the couple's children from their custody, but the number is staggering.
The fact that this operation continued for years without detection shows the massive failures in our child protection system. 21 children were living in abusive conditions while their quote-unquote parents ran criminal enterprises, and nobody noticed until someone finally reported it. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. How does somebody like Heron Dragon Ma remain in the United States after being convicted of immigration fraud involving 800 fake asylum applications? This represents a complete failure of our immigration enforcement system.
The court document calls Ma a foreign national, unlawfully present in the United States, and a convicted felon. According to the court documents, back in 2014, he went to jail after being convicted for being the mastermind and ringleader of a fraudulent immigration scheme.
Ma should have been deported immediately after his 2014 conviction. Instead, he was allowed to remain in this country where he continued building criminal networks and exploiting illegal operations. This is exactly what was wrong with our system.
The American Society for Reproductive Medicine sets guidelines.
And agencies are expected to follow these guidelines, but they're guidelines. They're not hard and fast rules, and there's no enforcement, which is why I think things like this are allowed to happen and have happened and probably will continue to happen.
This case represents everything wrong with our past approach to immigration and criminal justice. We have foreign nationals running immigration fraud schemes, child abuse operations, drug trafficking, and illegal gambling. And the strongest response we can muster is a civil lawsuit seeking to declare their properties a public nuisance. Where are the federal charges? Where's the RICO prosecution? Where's ICE removing the foreign national who's been committing crimes for over a decade? The response to this case, in my opinion, has been completely inadequate, given the scope of the criminal enterprise.
Yeah, Sharon, Sandra, there are still so many questions surrounding this situation. But people I spoke with who work in the surrogacy industry say what happened in this case is a perfect example of why there's a need for more oversight and regulation.
For months, investigators have been trying to get Ju, Jung, and Zhang to speak with them, and they've refused. That tells you everything you need to know about their guilt and their contempt for American law enforcement. This case isn't just one criminal family. It's a case study on how foreign criminal networks exploit our broken system while our agencies fail to coordinate an effective response. You have immigration fraud going unpunished, child protection agencies overwhelmed, criminal enterprises operating openly, and federal agencies that didn't coordinate.
This isn't the only story like this. And this is maybe the only one where we actually know where the children are.
As for how the couple was able to start their own agency, Hansen says pretty much anyone can. There's no licensing requirements in California.
The surrogacy industry needs some serious federal oversight. When you can produce 21 children through surrogates and house them in what appears to be abusive institutional settings, something is fundamentally broken in our regulatory system.
Surrogacy laws vary state by state, and there are no federal regulations.
Every American should should be outraged by this case. You have foreign nationals running immigration fraud schemes, child abuse operations, drug trafficking, and illegal gambling. The 21 children in this case deserve justice. The American communities being victimized by these criminal networks deserve protection, and the taxpayers funding these failed agencies deserve accountability. America, this surrogacy scandal represents everything that was wrong with our approach to immigration enforcement, child protection, and criminal justice. We had a system that allowed convicted immigration fraudsters to remain in the country, enables criminal organizations to exploit vulnerable children, and the response to multiple million-dollar criminal enterprises with civil fines.
Police say while Sylvia Zhang and Guangzhang Chen were arrested and released, their investigation into them and what went on inside this home continues.
The Arcadia Police Department is conducting an ongoing investigation in conjunction with the FBI.
This case isn't over, but it already exposes massive systematic failures that put our children and communities at risk. The fact that this operation could continue for years, involving 21 children in abusive conditions while running drug and gambling operations, shows that our system was fundamentally broken, and that's not acceptable. Thanks, Joey B. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
That's Tyson DeLacruz, who will be here tonight at 7:30 p.m. 4:30 Pacific, and looking forward to it tonight. What are we going to talk about? I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I mean, whatever that pops up in the news between the start of the show and maybe 2 hours before, whatever's in the news cycle at that time frame, then I guess I'll talk about that. Who knows? Every day is a new day, so every day we're just being bombarded with so much, and I feel like things are happening way too fast. But it's crazy because one moment in life you were a kid and now you're an adult, and then you're getting older and older as time progresses. And you remember when you look back in the days at your grandparents and they were nice and old and gray, and you wondered how their life were. Well, you could look back in your life and see how your life was, because we're all getting to that point that we're getting older and things are hurting and things are not feeling good, and it just sucks. It sucks getting older. But with that said, I'm gonna leave now. I want you guys to continue having a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night wherever you're at. And I'll catch y'all on the flip side. And don't forget, tonight at 7:30, I'll be on here live with Tyson DeLacruz. And it'll be interesting. It's always fun. He's always here every Thursday for 2 hours. It's really, really cool of him to come on here. So, and we like the chat to participate. And Tyson does interact with the chat, and so do I. So be here and we'll have a good time. So with that said, I'm out of here myself. Thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it. And like I said, continue having a good day. And it's beautiful here. It's going to be a high of 58, 59. And tonight's low, we're looking into 32. I live in the valley, so we'll probably be around in the 30 mark, which is pretty early cold. If this is how it's going to be this year, it's going to be a cold one this year for us here in the Northeast. And let's see how much snow we get this year. We'll keep count on how many storms we get, and see how many inches we accumulate. I love seeing the snow fall. And I'll go up to a friend's place that I know and record from above so you guys can see how beautiful the snow is falling from above. It's a beautiful scene, and it's a great feeling. All right, guys, I'll be here continue talking, but I gotta go. I'll be back on tonight. All right, peace.